My name's Christian Hawkey, and I'm the librettist for WOW.
My name is David Levine, and I'm the director of WOW.
I'm Joe Diebes, and I'm composing WOW.
So WOW is a experimental opera. It's a work in progress that we've been working on for the past year and a half. It's a opera that will be sort of loosely inspired by or based on the story or the scandal of Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli were a German pop act who were enormously successful in the US for about a year in the late 80s and 89. And in 1990 it turned out that not only were they lip-syncing their tracks in performance, they'd never sung on the recordings at all. And there was an enormous scandal, and they gave back their Grammys, and their masters were destroyed, and their lives were effectively ruined.
Part of the story that I find intriguing and perhaps inspiring is the moment in which they were revealed as faking, as lip-syncing. And this happened at an MTV program in Connecticut in 1990 when they were doing a live performance of Girl You Know It's True, and the CD started skipping, started going, girl you know it, girl you know it, girl you know it, and it was immediately apparent that they had been lip-syncing the whole time. So I'm interested in this early entry of the digital into our culture, which happened in the mid-'80s, but it's still very new in the late '80s, and comparing that to where we are now in 2014 when we're entirely immersed in the digital.
After the scandal broke and after they had to get rid of their Grammys and after the masters were destroyed, they tried to put their careers back together and they couldn't. And one of Rob Pilatus, one of the two guys in Milli Vanilli, finally overdosed and died. So I was sort of struck by the kind of tragic dimensions or operatic dimensions of the whole story, because it's really a tragedy about what's a real voice, like what's a pop voice, what's an opera voice, what's authenticity, and by just how hard these guys had to work to keep up a facade seems actually more, and the sort of desperate situation they got themselves into seems actually more deserving of sympathy than censure. But it actually seemed like a very operatic story and a very kind of interesting story about what the relationship of performance to money and performance to work. So that's what interested me.
And yeah, I mean, I was interested in all of that, and I guess also in just the scandal itself and the way large-scale scandals sort of unfold, these sort of embedded ideologies, particularly this sort of American obsession with voice and the authenticity of voice. So, you have Beyonce lip-syncing at Obama's inauguration, and everyone goes crazy. You have who was it? Was it Ashley Simpson?
Ashley Simpson
lip-syncing on Saturday Night Live, and suddenly the technology goes wrong, and she's caught in the act. One thing I love about that particular moment is the little dance that she does. The moment the technology goes wrong, and so suddenly when something breaks down, the sort of the humanness of the whole construct becomes kind of very clear, or she suddenly became very human in that moment when technology and its breakdown sort of forced her to step outside of this this spectacle that was being created for television. Lip-syncing itself is something that sort of begins with the whole sort of age of MTV, where all of the video artists are lip-syncing in some way, and so I'm also maybe kind of inspired by this sort of radical inauthenticity of lip-syncing itself. And the way that Rob and Fab as performers really brilliantly and charismatically entered into this space and performed it in ways that were actually really amazing.
So we're going to be working here in BRIC House in all of the spaces, in the gallery, in the ballroom, in this room we're in now, in the project room, in the artist studio, in the TV studio for the whole month, putting this thing together. We're going to have public showings the last 2 weekends in January. There's going to be an exhibition of work about or related to the scandal that's going to open in the gallery space on the 16th by a bunch of New York artists. And am I missing anything?
Come by.
Check it out.